Hey everybody, it's Dan from Mechanical Malarkey. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the rear brake calipers on a 2003 to 2007 Honda Accord. The process will be similar on the 08 to 2012 models and the 13 to 17 models. There will be slight differences, but the basics will be the same. Now, the most common reason to replace these calipers is because the parking brake lever that the cable pulls on seizes up. This one's not seized, but it's probably not going to be long till it seizes. I've replaced dozens of these calipers for just this reason. Now, before we remove the caliper, we want to disconnect the parking brake cable. That's easier to do when the caliper is still bolted on. So the parking brake cable is here, but you can't just pull it off. You have to actually get the cable disconnected from where it's attached here, and then you can slip it off. So if you can, remove this clip. Now the problem I'm having is that the cable is rusted into the bracket. So the other option is to remove the bracket with this bolt here. The only thing is the cable is in front of it, so it's a little tricky. Now we should be able to get the bracket loose. And now that the bracket's loose, get the cable off. Now it's time to unbolt the caliper. Something I like to do before unbolting calipers on these is to unbolt the brake line, which is bolted over here. This gives just a little more free play for the caliper. Now I just usually set the caliper aside, leave the hose connected until I'm ready to put it onto the new caliper. So now I'm going to remove the caliper bracket. Now, because of the condition of these rear pads and the rotors, I am also replacing the pads and rotors. If you need help with how to do that, watch my video on how to replace pads and rotors. It will be very similar. If your new caliper comes with a new bracket, install that now. Otherwise, clean it up the way I show in my video on how to change pads and rotors. Now install the brake pads with brake grease on the ends. And now install the caliper. Make sure you have the right side caliper. One way you can tell is which way the lever is and on which end the bleeder screw is on. Now hook up the parking brake cable again. This is going to be pretty tricky because we couldn't get it out of the bracket. Now it's time to switch over the brake hose. If your caliper didn't come with a new one, it's a good idea to have a new banjo bolt and washers. One washer goes on one side of the brake hose fitting, the other goes on the other side. So for this part, you want to work pretty quickly so you don't lose a lot of brake fluid. First, you need to loosen brake hose bolt on the old caliper. And I loosened it. Okay. Then get the new bolt and washers onto the brake hose fitting. And screw it into the new caliper. Then you just need to clean off all the fluid and bleed the air out of the system. And if you unbolted the brake hose like I did, make sure you bolt that back on. And if you removed it, make sure you put this back on the parking brake cable. And now all that's left to do is bleed it. I'm going to be using the homemade one-man brake bleeder that I built. I have a video on how to build your own. They're very simple. So first, put your bleeder wrench on the bleeder screw. Then hook up the hose to the screw and open the bleeder valve. Pump the brake pedal several times until you don't see any more air coming out of the hose. The caliper is now bled. Make sure you check the brake fluid level before you start bleeding so that you don't run the master cylinder dry. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please subscribe and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and read the blog at mechanicalmalarkey.com. Thanks for watching.